Hello students, today we will study about sexual reproduction in plants and human being. So let us start with the reproduction in case of a plant. Talking about the reproductive parts of a flower, the stamen is a male reproductive part of a flower and pistil is a female reproductive part of the flower. In this diagram, you can be able to see here we have the pistil. The pistil is a female part of the flower. In the center we have the pistil. This pistil or the carpel consists of three different parts. The upper part that is termed as a platform for the landing of the pollen grains is named as stigma. Then we have style, that is a long tubular structure that ends into the ovary, that is a swollen base present at the thalamus. So this whole consists of the pistil or the carpel. This is a female part of the flower. Ovary contains ovules within the embryo sac. Then we have the male part of the flower. The male part of the flower is stamen. Stamen consists of anther and filament. The anther is a bilobed structure. The anther is a bilobed structure which bears a stalk that is termed as filament. Then we have the another whole of the flower, that is the petals. Petals are also named as group of petals is named as corolla and the group of sepals is named as calyx. The green colored, the outermost whole of the flower is the green colored part that helps in protection of a flower. The petals and the sepals, these two are the non-essential parts of the flower, and the stamen and the pistil are the essential reproductive parts of a flower. The male gamete produces in the pollen grains, and that is pollen grain produces in the stamen, and the female gamete develops in the ovary. So these are the reproductive parts of the flower. The transfer of pollen grains from stigma to the style is termed as pollination. There are two types of pollination. One, when the pollen grains transfer from the stigma, from the anther to the stigma of the same flower within a flower, that is termed as self-pollination. That is termed as self-pollination. But when pollen grains transferred from the anther of one flower to the stigma of another flower, that is from the anther of one flower to the stigma of another flower, that is termed as cross pollination. And there are various agents that are involved in this process like insects, wind, water, birds, bat. These are the agents that are helpful in this process. Next we have fertilization. After pollination, the fertilization takes place. The pollen grains land over the stigma and they run, a pollen tube arises or grows. It germinates after the landing of the pollen grains on the stigma. The pollen tube germinates. This pollen tube carries two gametes. It carries two male gametes. These male gametes, they are helpful in fusion or fertilization. One of the male gamete fuses with the female gamete, results in the formation of a zygote that is termed as syngamy, or it is named as fertilization. Here it is first fertilization. This fertilization takes place in the embryo sac inside the ovary, and this structure that is showing here, it has a two end. One is micropyle end, another one is chalazal end. The micropyle end is the end through which the pollen tube enters into this ovule. After fertilization, the zygote that is formed by the fusion of male and the female gamete. When one male gamete fuses with the female gamete, it results in the formation of zygote. The zygote develops into the embryo, and the embryo, the seeds are produced from the ovules, and the ovary results in the formation of a fruit. Next we have, in this diagram we are able to see pollen grains. The pollen grains land over the stigma. The pollen tube runs through the style. The pollen tube runs through the style and carries the two male gametes. One of the male gamete fuses with the female gamete. Another male gamete fuses with the two polar nuclei present in the center and results in the formation of a triploid endosperm nucleus. This is triple fusion. So here we have the two fertilization. One is a fusion of male and female gamete. Another is a fusion of one male gamete with the two polar nuclei, resulting in the formation of triploid endosperm nucleus. In this figure, again you are able to see that we have a pollen tube, and the pollen tube carries the two male gametes. It carries the two male gametes. One of the male gamete fuses with the egg and another male gamete fuses with the polar nuclei. The next we have the reproduction in case of human being. So let us start with the male reproductive system. The male reproductive system consists of a pair of testes which are located in the structure named as scrotum. The scrotum is located outside the male body, and it has 2 degrees Celsius less temperature as compared to the male reproductive, as compared to the other as compared to the body temperature that is maintained inside the body. It has a 2 degrees Celsius less body temperature. This low body temperature is required for the formation of sperm, or it is required for spermiogenesis. The testes, they carries a vas deferens. They have a vas deferens. A tube arises, vas deferens from it. The vas deferens joins urethra. Urethra is a common chamber. It is a muscular organ, and it is a common chamber for the passage of urine and sperm discharge, or the semen. Then this urethra, it opens into the penis through a duct. It opens into the penis, and the penis is a copulatory organ. It has an opening known as genital pore. There are two glands named as seminal vesicle and the prostate gland, which provide nutrition and are helpful in the movement of the sperms, or the male gamete, which is produced by the testes. In the testes, the formation of sperm takes place. In the testes, we have the formation of sperm takes place. The testes contains epididymis part and the seminiferous tubules where the sperms are produced. They leads to this tube vas deferens. The vas deferens leads into the urinary bladder, which opens into the urethra, that opens into the penis, and through this penis both semen and the urine can be passed out. Now next we have here the expanded view of this seminiferous tubule is shown. Before this, we have a structure of a sperm. The sperm is a motile structure. It bears acrosomal head, and in this we have the mitochondria. Here we have the large number of mitochondria in this acrosomal head. Then middle piece, we have the hydrolytic enzyme in the head. Then we have middle piece. In the middle piece we have mitochondria, and it bears a long tail. The long tail is helpful in the movement of the sperm. Next, the female reproductive system. The female reproductive system consists of a pair of ovaries. It consists of a pair of ovaries. The ovaries produces ova. The ova, after maturation, it moves to the structure known as oviduct. In the oviduct, the fertilization takes place. The oviduct opens into the bag or the pouch-like structure that is named as uterus. Uterus leads into the cervix. Cervix leads into the vagina. Now, in this we have the ova is released from the ovaries. It is captured by the fimbriae, and in the isthmus junction the fertilization will takes place. The mating of the male and the female gamete takes place. That after fertilization the zygote will be formed, and the zygote then move towards the uterine wall, and it gets embedded in the uterine wall. Here we have the structure of the human egg, that is larger in size as compared to the male gamete. Then here we have the fertilization in human beings. Now during the intercourse, the sperms are discharged by the male into the female vagina. As the sperm reaches to the ampulla isthmus junction, here the sperms fuses with the ova. The fertilization will takes place. Here the sperm fuses with the ova. After the fertilization, the zygote will be formed. The zygote then get implanted into the uterine wall and starts dividing. First of all, it is a single cell, then it will form 2 cell stage, then it will form 4 cell stage, then it results in the formation of 8 cell and blastomere, and in this way it gets the development of the embryo starts into the new young one. Then the embryo, after attachment with the endometrium wall, after attachment with the endometrium wall, the embryo gets nutrition through the placenta. The placenta is termed as the placenta is a disc-like structure that is also named as umbilical cord that provides nutrition to the developing embryo. It provides glucose, helps in the exchange of gases and nitrogenous waste, and results in the formation of a young one. Next we have here we have the stages in development of the embryo. The very first stage, when the ova is released, then we have fertilization. Here the fertilization will takes place. Then we have 2-cell stage, then we have 4-cell stage, then we have 8-cell stage, and we have the blastomere, blastocyst. Then it gets attached to the endometrium uterine wall, and this is termed as a implantation. So in this way, the developing embryo gets nutrition through the umbilical cord, the placenta. Now, what do you mean by the term menstruation? Menstruation, that is, it is a we can say it is the onset of puberty in case of female. The ovary produces one egg every month, and the uterus prepares to receive the fertilized egg. But when the fertilization does not take place, then the wall becomes thick and spongy. So it releases blood vessels, and after rupturing, the blood can be released along with the blood vessels every month. After 28 days, this cycle repeats, and this is termed as menstruation. It starts at the age of puberty or the onset of puberty. It is an indication of onset of puberty in case of female. The starting of this menstruation is menarche when this is the onset of puberty, onset of menstruation, that is menarche starting, and the menopause is the stoppage of menstruation in case of a female. Now we have the reproductive health. What do you mean by the reproductive health? When we are talking about the health of health related with the reproductive organs, that is termed as reproductive health. We have sexually transmitted disease. As you know that during sexual contact, the disease may be transmitted. There are various type of disease like bacterial disease. The bacterial infections includes gonorrhea, syphilis, and the viral infection includes AIDS. All of you have heard about AIDS, and one more disease, that is warts. Now we have various methods to prevent these disease, and for the birth control or the contraceptive methods to control pregnancy, we have certain natural methods. The natural method includes lactational amenorrhea, and barrier method includes condoms, diaphragms, cervical caps, copper T. These are the barrier methods. These barrier methods, they act as a barrier, or they prevent the mating of the male and the female gametes. Then we have certain chemical methods. The chemical method consists of drugs like oral pills, vaginal pills, which are given to the patient, which are given to the which are given to the persons to the couples who don't want child, or they want to gap between the children. Surgical methods are the methods in which we will cut and ligate the vas deferens and the fallopian tube. It is termed as vasectomy in male and the tubectomy in female. A piece of vas deferens is cut and ligated, and the piece of fallopian tube is cut and ligated in case of female. So these are the surgical methods. So they are also helpful in preventing the birth, in preventing we can say pregnancies, in the prevention of pregnancy, or the helpful in child control, birth control.